Hey everyone. Alright, so for today I'd like to share with you how we can secure our local domain name on our machine. Because a lot of the times we'll be working with a production site that is secure, and then we can get some discrepancies with the URL or the different cross-origin blocking, and yeah, we just run into a lot of problems. So we can see here our site isn't secure. If we come down here in the Dev Tools and we click on the Security tab, we can also get a little bit more details, so we'll work with that. So one of the first things that we can do to go and secure our site, we need to log in. And then what we're going to do is head down here to our settings. And right here we can see that it's set to HTTP. So in order to turn that on and make it secure, we need to use the HTTPS protocol. So change it to that and then hit Save Changes, and then this should break and force us to become logged out. Alright, so the next step that we want to do to secure our local URL is we want to go into MAMP, and we have an SSL option here. Now MAMP is supposed to be able to automatically generate one of these, but I've had nothing but trouble, and I haven't tried this in a while, quite honestly, but it wasn't securing it because of the browser. Google Chrome has a different way of how those certificates are read, so it was the way that this is generated, it was actually missing something that it needed in order to actually get the padlock set up correctly. So what we need to do, you need to check this to enable it, and then we need to provide two different files. We've got like a key and then another file. So what we need to do, I have here pulled up. Now I found this little template, and I'll do my best to try to describe what's happening, but I'm just not perfect and I just don't know all this stuff off the top of my head, but I know what works. So what works is this. Essentially, and I can try to find the link to where I found this, but this is going to generate an SSL right here on the command line for us. And so what this does is it sets it all up. We kind of give it the defaults. You're able to change these if you want, but I just have it set up to where it's already plugged in and we quickly generate it on the fly. And what we do is, what we're looking for is anything. I've kind of got this set up as a template or a boilerplate, but what we're going to do, we're going to go over to my SSL directory. Let me clear this out, and I'll show you what's inside here. You can see all the different sites that I've got secured locally. I'm just going to copy our template one, and I'm going to change this to food.test.conf. Just for a naming convention. You don't have to do that. And then we'll just open that food one up in our code editor. So now we're working with the new copied one. So this is just kind of my template to go off of. But what I do is I take everything that's listed as template, search for all of them, and then replace it with what my new URL is going to be. In this case, we decided it was going to be food.test. So it places it here. What we're really looking for is this very last one. We're just setting up the DNS so that way it knows what URL we want it to secure. It has something to do with these alternate names. And I was getting a problem with this subject alternate name when I did this without running this on the command line. So this just adds these other extra things that, again, like I said, the Chrome browser is just looking for and needs. So what we're able to do is save that, and now this is our config file to generate the two keys that we need. So what this command does is basically we're saying, you know, what the encryption is going to be, and then how many days that this cert's going to last. I just put it for quite a few days because I didn't want to have to do this every year. And again, it's on localhost, so if I need to regenerate it, I guess we'll get to that at that point. So now that we've got that, we'll go back to the command line where we've got our brand new one, which is food here, and we're going to just paste this in, and it'll run our script, have it all set up. So it's saying what it's going to do. It's going to generate the private key, and I don't have to enter any of these in because I've just got it all set up as default. And now those are generated. So if we look here, now we've got our cert, the config file, and then our key. or private key. So now what we can do is we can go back to MAMP and say, hey, let's go find that certificate file. So I'll go here. I have them all set up just to be in my SSL folder, so I know where they all exist and where they live. We'll select our cert, select our key. It's going to be in the same place, it's just going to be different. And then what we need to do in order for this to work is we need to click save. And it'll take a little bit while this reboots, and while this reboots I'll pause the video here and show you what our next step is. Alright, so that finished refreshing, so that sometimes takes a minute or two. Once that's complete, now we can go back to our website and continue with this process. So we've got it here, it says it's secure, it says it's not private, but if we actually look here and we go to our security tab, it tells us what's broken, saying our certificate's missing. That's because this cert that we've set up, the browser isn't aware that anything's installed or secure. So, but if we look here, it says the connection, now we're showing that it is a secure connection. And all resources are served securely, but we're having a problem here with this cert of authority. So what we have to do is kind of weird. Again, this is on Windows. There's a couple of different steps you might have to do for Mac, but I'm on Windows here, so I'll just do that to show you how that works. So we go to the details. We're going to copy this file. We're going to make sure that the first option here is selected for .cert or cert. And we're going to browse and save this to a specific place. And I've already done this for another URL that you can see, but what we're going to do is call it food.test, because that's the name of our URL. So I just like to keep everything named the same, so that's what it knows what to look for. Click next, finish, and that exports the certificate. Then what we do, let's see here. Pull this over so you can see. So here's our certificate. So if I double click this and we're going to hit install certificate. Now we have a couple different options here. I like to just put everything under the local machine. You can select current user. It doesn't really matter. But I find if I for some reason switched users for whatever reason, then having it on the machine, I don't have to worry about that. But I just prefer to do that just in case. But again, doesn't matter. Click next. What we want to do is we want to install this to the trusted root certificate authorities. So select that and then hit next, finish. It says it's installed. Okay, great. Everything's going well so far. Let's refresh and see what happens. Nothing. So here's the trick. Here's the big caveat or something that took me a while to figure out. Really, it is installed at this point. What we need to do is just close out Chrome and refresh our browser. So let's close Chrome here. I'm going to open Chrome back up. And now here is food.test, and you can see our connection is secure. And you can see right here, it's all set to go. Now we should be able to log in again. And everything's great. And then if we go down to the security tab, you can see the page is secure and valid HTTPS. I don't know, I'm not the best at maybe explaining all these different things. This took me months to figure out, but I hope you found it useful and at least kind of maybe see the process of what you have to do to get it secure. So just to recap, click SSL. You need to somehow generate these. You could try creating a self-signed cert. Sometimes MAMP will do that perfectly fine. Other times there might be something missing because, again, the Chrome browser is updated and it's expecting something else. That was the issue I was having. So that's why I needed to make sure that I was providing the proper SAN. That's what they called it for short, or this subject alt name, and then that the DNS was pointed to that. So this little script helped me with that. If you'd like it, hit me up in the comments, or I can just zip that file up somehow and get it to you. Once those are installed, saved, and you install the cert, I know with Mac that there's something you have to do with dropping that in your keychain or something like that. I don't have the exact steps, but I'm sure if you search for it, shouldn't be too hard to find, but hopefully that helps you out with Windows. Yeah, let me know in the comments if you have any other questions or you get stuck, because I know I certainly did, so hopefully that helps somebody. Okay, catch you in the next one.